palette? I think that's a yes. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the newest as of this moment because, Colourpop might release something else by the time this video goes up. Colourpop palette, this is the Strawberry Shake palette. It is very pink, as you can see. I'm wearing it on my eyes today, and I'm going to give you a little review. So let's jump into it. So first off, I have to say that I was really attracted to this palette when I first saw it come up on Instagram. I thought it looked beautiful. You can see it's very pinky, very rosy. So I have to say I was really surprised when I saw that Colourpop was going to launch this palette because I feel like they just launched the Orange Glad palette like 10 minutes ago. I can't be the only one that thinks Colourpop releases just a little bit too much. A little bit too much. I mean, sometimes like they give me anxiety with the amount of stuff they release. It's too much. It's too hard to keep track of. But I was very excited about this palette when I saw it. I thought the color scheme was really pretty. I thought it looked like a more toned down version of the their watermelon palette that they released like a month ago. But I was very excited about this palette, and I feel like it was a more toned down version of the Ooh La La palette, the pink one, and their watermelon palette, which was more red. And I thought it looked really pretty, so I bought it right away when it released. I didn't get anything else from the collection because I thought that was, not very usable for me and my makeup needs. But they did release some blushes with this. They released some lip glosses and some skincare items, but I didn't feel like I needed any of those things. But I did grab the palette, and right off the bat, I have to say when I took it out of the box, I thought it did not look like it did in photos online, and I know that that's a problem with a lot of makeup releases because it is really hard to get things to look true to color in photographs. That's very true. But I feel like this is much brighter in person than it looked online. Online, it looked a little more muted, a little more, rosy, not so pink. I was a bit surprised by how bright this is in person. So if you were thinking it was a little more rosy, a bit more muted, it's really not. It's quite pink. I was hoping it would be more of like an everyday pink, like a neutral pink palette, and it's really not what it is, which is a bit unfortunate if that's what you're looking for. Another thing I should mention is that there are 3 shades in this palette that are not intended for use in the immediate eye area. This is the whole like pressed pigment thing that are not approved for use around the eyes because they can stain. So if that's something you care about, I don't think you should get this palette if that's something you're concerned about. It is this shade, My Milkshake, this shade, Take a Sip, and this shade, Daiquiri. And this is quite common recently with really bright reds and pinks because they're pressed pigments, they're not FDA approved, they can stain your eyelids. Some people get irritation from them if they're really sensitive to those sorts of things. So that's something to be aware of. It's been a thing with a bunch of different palettes. You may have heard about it. I don't know. Another thing to note about those 3 shades is that they are a little tougher to work with because they're pigments and not eyeshadows. They're a little tougher to blend. They're just not going to perform like normal eyeshadows. So that's something to be aware of. I do think overall this palette is harder to work with than other Colourpop palettes, and it might be because the colors are so bright. I found that the mattes are a bit tough to blend. They're a little bit patchy, and I think it's just because, again, like I said, I think it's because they're so bright and they're so pink and red. And I noticed with a lot of palettes that really bright pink and red shades are tough to work with. They're tough to blend, form a little bit patchily, all that stuff. So actually when I was applying my eyeshadow today, I found myself blending for forever. And I think it's for that reason, because they apply and then they just kind of stay where you apply them. So you really have to work hard to blend them out. That being said, they are quite pigmented, They pack a lot of punch in terms of color. So that's a good thing if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for something really pigmented. There are 3 shimmer shades in this palette, and I think the formula with the shimmers is perfect. I think Colourpop has a really good formula for their shimmers, and I do really recommend most of their shimmer shades. I have had some problems with like their purple and blue shimmers in the past, and their single shadows. I think that sometimes those don't perform very well. Yeah, so overall, I think the formula is pretty good. I did have, some struggles with the matte shadows and the matte pressed pigments, as I said. I think the shimmer formula is good. It just depends on, how much you want to work with these shadows. If you're looking for a palette that's very easy to work with, I don't think this is it. You know, I think you do have to have some more practice working with makeup. It's not very beginner friendly. In order to make this work, I do think you really need to be willing to put in the time and have a little more expertise with dealing with bright shadows. And you know, if you like this color scheme and you're willing to put in the work, I think this is a great buy. I think it's $12. I think all of their nine pan palettes are $12. And in terms of the packaging, I mean, this is really nice. This is very cute. It's got the strawberries on it. It says strawberry shake. It's this pretty pale pink, very sturdy, you know, easy to travel with, compact, you know, fits really nicely into my travel makeup bag, into my drawer. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves is really unnecessarily bulky packaging, and this is very sleek, very streamlined. And you do get a nice big mirror, which is, you know, if that's something you care about, this is really nice, really sturdy. And I do like the look I came up with today. It just took me a really long time with blending. You know, not an easy to work with palette, but you know, definitely there are a lot of pros to this palette. So that's what I have to say about the formula and the shade selection. So let's jump into the live swatches. This first shade is My Milkshake, and this is one of the shades that can stain your eye area. You can see it's very pigmented, kind of a bright fuchsia pink. This is the shade Whipped, kind of a sparkly rose color. This is the shade Woke. It's a bit of a softer pink, you can see. This is the shade Paper Straw. It's more of a peachy pink. This is the shade Take a Sip. It's very bright. It's one of the shades not intended for use around your eyes because it can stain. This is the shade Delish. It's my favorite shade in the palette. It's a sparkly pink. This is the shade Berry Fine. It's kind of a duochrome pink and peach. This is the shade Daiquiri. It's one of the shades that can stain your eyes. It's very red. And this last shade is Shake It Up. It's more of a dusty mauvey rose color. Those were the live swatches for this palette, the Strawberry Shake palette. Hopefully that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.